Alright, so welcome to another edition of Mike Finds Things, where we go out and find a bunch of old records, and I just showed you what's coming up. But we're gonna go into some of these estate sale finds for you. I haven't done any thrift store finds in a while. Also, I got another announcement. We got press passes, or I got press pass for Viva Las Vegas Rockabilly Weekender. Basically for my other channel, because I do cars on the other channel, which is a lot bigger than this channel. But I did look on their schedule, and they've got like a vinyl collectors meeting for Friday, and it's all like Rockabilly stuff. So I'm going to be taking some Rockabilly stuff, including some of the stuff that I found for this week's video, which you'll see, and I have to go through some of my other stuff. People have asked about buying records from me. I'm still trying to get it set up for that. I'm trying to actually organize stuff, so I've got a place where I'm going to put all the stuff that I'm going to sell, and I'll figure out exactly where I'm going to sell it and how I'm going to sell it and all that good stuff. I've still got other stuff going on in my life that needs my time, including my old shop, which is, unfortunately, I don't think I mentioned on this channel, but we had a fire last year, and that's still getting repaired. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. I will be getting to the point where I'll be selling some of the stuff that I'm not keeping. I'm just not quite at that point yet, and I'm going to take some stuff maybe to sell or trade to the Viva Las Vegas show. I just got to make sure it's okay to sell there, because I have a press pass, so it's like I'm a guest, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm assuming that's what that vinyl meeting's for, is for buy, sell, trade kind of stuff, is what I'm assuming. So without further ado, let's go into these records that I found for this week's video. Alright, first one I found, I actually bought a 1912 Victrola out east of here. Some guy I met at an estate sale, actually the sale where I got those. Remember when I did the two videos a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks back? All those records I found that were looked like they were brand new. I was talking to a guy while I was waiting in line to pay, and he says, "Oh, we got some records." So I went out there. He had a bunch of terrible stuff. I bought a few things from him. I'll probably put those in another video. But I wound up buying a 1912 Victrola from the guy. And while I was out there, I had it in the back of my truck. I said, let me see if there's any other sales out here. So I went out to one other sale and bought some records. So these are the ones I bought from that sale that I wouldn't have gone to if I hadn't been out picking up the Victrola. Because I had to go back the next day. I didn't have my truck with me the first day I went out there. So I actually had to go back for the Victrola. There you go. I don't know if that makes any sense. First one I found, this is an interesting one. This is a psychedelic record. This is it was only put out as a promo record. I've seen guys asking $5 to $20. My notes are it was pretty funky and had horns on it. But it's a psych record. It's Tomorrow by Sweet Vengeance on MGM on a promo copy. And it's pretty nice. The B-side is She Said. And somebody wrote their name on it and put a record box sticker on their label. Those usually come off pretty easily anyway. Not the writing though. But it's in really nice condition. Like I said, very obscure on an MGM promo. Like I said, I've only found guys asking $5 to $20. It is psychedelic, so a lot of weird psychedelic stuff out there, and that is definitely one of them. This came from the same sale. These were really cheap. I think it was the last day of the sale, so everything was half off too. This one is a funk record from '68, and it's got the hole punched in it for a return. It says it's sold for $4 to $16 on Discogs, but 22 have it and 51 are looking for it. So that's usually a good sign. It's The Fabulous Counts with Jan on Moira Records. And I think this one that says it's distributed by Atlantic. I guess the first pressing didn't say that, and those were only sold in Detroit or something. So, and the other side is Girl from Kenya. That's the B side on that one. This one's in really nice condition as well. And nobody wrote on the label on that one, but it does have the hole punch for the return. So I'm guessing it didn't sell. I've heard both. I've heard that means it didn't sell, and I've heard that means This one, I can only find one sold comp at 10, so I usually mention when I find that's usually not a very accurate value, because one comp, you don't know what the condition was or anything like that. This one is written on by the same person. The Birds with Chestnut Mare And same thing, they wrote their name a little bit over the title, and they put the label from the platter pack on a white label Columbia promo, and it's the same song on both sides. And it's from 1970. It's psychedelics, not your normal bird stuff you usually find, but kind of interesting to find a interesting Birds promo single. So the only sold comp I found was one for 10. Like I said, I don't trust that. I don't know. I don't trust it when there's only one value. I found another one. I find these sometimes. I pick them up because they're good jukeboxers. Moody Blues Nights in White Satin on Duram. And jukebox guys want these. It does not have the full album version, obviously. It doesn't have like the 7-minute long version that's on the album, which of course is a much more preferable version, but I don't think they ever put that on a 45. So Nights in White Satin, the Moody Blues, you know what that is. This is another one that's pretty common, but I grabbed it because it's cool and it's funky. This one's Freddie's Dead, Curtis Mayfield on Kurt Tom Records. Same thing, they put, probably was in a platter pack. Underground's the B-side. I think everybody knows what Freddie's Dead is. I mean, it's 1972. I'd say it's probably like a $5 record, but it's still a cool find. This one's neat. This one I thought was going to be a children's record, and I looked it up. In fact, originally I thought it was in the wrong sleeve, because when I looked up the record, I pulled the record out and looked it up. It said Rockabilly. I said, well, that's a children's record sleeve, but it's Jingle Jump. And you can see why I thought it was a children's record. This is a Rockabilly record from '64. It goes from $1.65 to $27. Said the mid-range is $4. I don't know how much to trust that. It's kind of obscure, and obviously most of the ones you find aren't going to have the original. Here's the other side of the. It's actually the B side's actually called the flip side on the record, even though it is the flip side, but it says the cartoon, so it's actually Danny Peel and the Tigers. And then I found it also, somebody has a video of this on YouTube, and I think on their version it says Danny Peel and the Apollos, but it's the same thing, on Raynard Records out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And Flipside is just Flipside by the Tigers. So it's in amazing condition. So it's sort of a weird Rockabilly record. It still has the price tag up here for 79 cents from, what's the store? Prince Hill store, whatever. I'm not saying it's a record store. A lot of like just general stores would sell records back then. So Jingle Jump, not a kid's record, but it sure looks like one. But sort of an interesting one nonetheless. So I did go to some estate sales. This estate sale was from that day when I got the that last Church Bells Ring on 45 and that chubby checker that was in the last video. But I ran out of time on that video. I didn't want it to go incredibly super long, even though my videos tend to anyway. So that's the same thing. I looked up other than estate sales. It was like 15 minutes from there or something. So I went out, only got 2 records there. I got the Jackson 5 ABC. The cover, unfortunately, is in terrible condition. Has a little bit of a problem there. But the record is super nice, so it's a great play copy. This one's from 1970. I'm not even going to attempt to figure out which pressing this is, because it's Motown, and there's a bazillion different pressings of that record. But, I mean, it's probably like a $5 or $10 record. I mean, just a general, that's just a general guess. This is Zingers from the Hollywood Squares. Campy 70s stuff, TV related. I'm probably going to take it when my buddy ever does his 70s, 80s car show again. Maybe give it to him as like a gag prize for one of the cars. But sort of neat. It's got, so it's got all the one-liners that, that when they gave the answers on Hollywood Squares. So that's kind of a neat one. It only sells between $1 to $7. The record came out in '74. And then I went to another estate sale because I looked it up again, and I said, okay, there's another one like a few minutes away from there. Went to that estate sale, and I got 2 records there, but I'm glad I bought a couple records there because they gave me a tip to go to their store. So I'll get into that in a minute. I got a promo copy of Boogie Wonderland, same song on both sides. One's in mono, one's in stereo. Of course, by Earth, Wind, and Fire. This one only sells between $1 to $7. 3 is the mid from '79. I don't have to tell you what Boogie Wonderland is. It's a very well-known song. But it's kind of, I like grabbing those promos, even if it's like a well-known song sometimes. This one sells between $1 and $10. The mid is 4. From '73, we got original hits by the original artist, Soul Train. Don Cornelius picks 22 of the greatest soul hits of all time. And it's got a lot of great. It's got James Brown on there, Isley Brothers, Ike and Tina, Joe Simon, Clarence Carter, Gladys Knight and the Pips. It's one of those compressed groove records, but I mean, it's Soul Train. It's got like the artist and Don Cornelius pictured on the front. Some other stuff on there. Delphonics, La 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 Means I Love You, Patches, Hold On I'm Coming by Sam and Dave. It's got a lot of cool stuff on there. Of course, it's compressed groove, so probably not the greatest sound quality, but you know, it's in really nice condition. And as a like cool like '70s Soul Train collectible, I think it's neat. It's one of those, it's as seen on TV, and it's also as seen on Mike Finds things. But from 1973, Soul Train. So when I was checking out, I was talking to a lady. She says, "You know what? We have a store not far from here." She's like, "Where we take the stuff that doesn't sell at the estate sales." She's like, "We got a lot of records." So I said, "Okay, I'll go check it out." So I went to lunch, and then I went over to check it out, and they had a bunch of records. And I started going through them. She told me which ones were the more recent arrivals, if you will. And I started going through those. I went through a couple boxes of 45s. I found a bunch of 45s and 178. And I got a killer one. At least I think it's a killer one, because there was a lot of 50s rockabilly in there for some reason. There was another guy that came, and he started going through stuff, and he pulled stuff too. But I think I got a killer one here. I'm hoping, because this one was bootlegged, so I will give that. This one is according, it has one comp on Discogs at $1,000, but it was bootlegged. The bootleg is $554 to $11. I think it's a real one because it was mixed in with a bunch of other 50s rockabilly stuff, including some obscure stuff, and that weren't bootlegged. But it's Try This Heart for Size, Eddie Gaines and the Rockin' Five. And I actually bought these based on the titles, and like, because the lady kept walking by, I didn't want to be looking stuff up. So these actually I did buy, you know, if I had a feeling that it was something cool. And Bebop Battle and Ball on the other side. And this record is like, you know, the thicker styrene. It feels like a 50s record. It doesn't feel like a 80s bootleg or a reissue. And it's in really nice condition, plays well. Might be $1,000 record. I don't know. It's on Summit Records. I said Eddie Gaines and the Rockin' Five on Summit. And that might be a really cool find. It might be a bootleg. I think it's a real one, but we'll find out. I might drag that one out to Vegas with me. So let the experts take a look at it. This one I think I couldn't find anything on, which usually could be good or bad. It could mean it's so obscure that it's you know, something people want, or you know, just hasn't appeared on Discogs. It could be something that people generally don't want to let go of. You never know, or it could just be nothing. But this one's a Rockabilly from '57. This was in the same box. Troubled by Chuck Dean on Oswell Records out of Hammond, Indiana. You can see the condition is super nice on that. They did write on the label on this one. This one says, this one is something of Hammond. So this guy is actually from Hammond. So this one is, singer is Chuck Muller of Hammond. So the guy must have been from Hammond, Indiana or something, that owned this record at one time. Clap Hands is the other side. Like I said, the guy made a note that the singer is this guy. So apparently he knew the guy. So that's sort of interesting. But it is a 57. I found it was from 57, so I did find that, but I don't think I found any values on that one. Which happens. This one's a rock and roll instrumental. I didn't find a year on this one. Probably late 50s. This was in the same box. Way Out by Verge, Murph, and Prof on Decca on a promo with Buggin' as the B-side. And I literally didn't find any information on it. I just listened to it and went, okay, it's a rock and roll instrumental. I didn't really take any other notes. This is a Jump Blues record from '58 promo, but I couldn't find any instance of the promo version. The non-promo goes for $20 to $65.72. The mid-range is $27.29. So a few copies have sold on Discogs. Full House by the T-Birds on Andex, And it does say promotional copy on the top. And the other side is Bagpipe Stroll. And it has the same, you know, that little sticker for the lick and stick for the Platter Pack catalog. It's a jump blues and rock and roll type record. So something that's a little bit obscure from 1958. So I like finding this obscure stuff, especially rockabilly and soul and stuff. The non-promo version of this, I found one sold comp of $4.43. So I don't trust that because I found one comp and that's it. Terry by Tony Castle on East West. And this one is a promo. The only one I could find that sold was a non-promo. And Young and in Love on the other side. And it's in super choice condition as well. Sort of a neat one from 58. Rolling to the next one, we got this one's a Rockabilly from 58. Has sold between $7.78 and $53. Mid-range is about $11. Always by Mickey Michaels and the Forestals on Felstead Records. No town listed on that one, but there it is. With Coffee Shop Rock on the other side. And someone wrote a 3 there, so I'm guessing that was on both sides, little tiny 3. I'm guessing that was their, I guess they lost the Platter Pack lick and stick, and they just had to write a 3 on there. This one's a Doo-wopper from 57. Couldn't find a value on this one, or a reliable one. This one, like I said, these were all in the same box. Love You Darlin' by the Four Fellows on Glory. And the other side is Give Me Back My Broken Heart. And I said, like I said, the wax is in really nice shape. Most of these, the wax is really nice on. And they start hammering across the street again. It's actually down the street a bit, so it's not like directly. But I heard they were stopped, so I said, okay, let's go do it. Then the guy started doing gardening stuff across the street with like a leaf blower and a weed whacker. This one is $2.50 to $16.67. Mid-range is $6. 58 Rockabilly / Novelty. Jessie Lee Turner, Little Space Girl. I think this one had like the high pitch, like Purple People Eater or something like that. That same kind of voice thing. Shake Baby Shake on the other side. By Jessie Lee Turner from 1958 on Carlton. So not a rare label, but I've never come across that record before. So usually I think the Carltons, you always come around like Jack Scott or something like that. Usually you always see those Jack Scotts on that label. This one's a 56 Doo-wop. It's sold between $5 and $40. The mid-range is $20. The wax is in good shape. They wrote a little number on there again. On Rainbow, Bop Bop Boo by the Dappers. I think like I said, these I went off of I just took chances on these. I just saw that and I go, that's got to be Doo-wop. And How I Need You Baby on the other side. And it turns out it was a Doo-wop record from 1956. The weird one is the soul record. Sometimes like soul and country records have similar, you'll go, oh, that's a soul record and it's a country record, or vice versa. I don't know if with soul and country, they have like, sometimes they have similar sounding record titles. 1958 Doo-wop record. This is Bambanella. I didn't find a value on this one. Bambanella Honey Bunch by the Four Barons. And I don't have a town on that one. On Roman 3 Records. And the B-side is Old Enough to Know. That's in really nice shape. I found nothing else on that other than it was from 58. So sort of another one that's not a lot of, I guess that usually means there's not a lot of them out there. This one is $6, and one sold comp $6, so I don't trust it. 57, I didn't put what it was. It was Jamaica by the Twin Tones. I think it was kind of a calypso, if I remember right. This one's on Monte Carlo, which is, as far as I can tell, is not a subsidiary of Roulette. You don't have the roulette wheel on it. And I'm Feeling No Pain on the other side. On Monte Carlo, and said one has sold for $6. Oh, this was from Hollywood. Okay, the record label's out of Hollywood by the Twin Tones. I didn't really write down what genre it was for some reason. This one is neat. I played this one. It's from 57. It is not only a rockabilly record, but it could be played on Halloween. It sells between 8 and 1667. The mid is $12. Rock a Boogie by Andy Quinn on a Decca promo copy. And he starts singing about like the boogeyman and stuff. It would be a fun song for Halloween. And the Back to School Again blues on the other side. But the A side is Rock a Boogie, and he starts singing about Boogeyman. So I made a note that it would be a good record for Halloween, from 1957. Another rockabilly. These all came, like I said, these all came out of the same box. This is from 1960. Sells between $2.30 and $15, and mid range is $6. The label's a little drawn on, and somebody tried to peel a sticker off. Shortened and Bread, you know, the Shortened and Bread song. Paul Chaplin and His Emeralds. Distributed nationally by Monty Bruce Gone Recording Corp. New York on Harper Records. So there's that. That's sort of like a lot of stuff to put on a label. And Nicotine is the other side. So said, what a weird one. Interesting record though. So fortunately the guy did write in marker, he wrote his name on it. This one, I only sold comp was 6, so I've only got one sold comp. That was like an early rock and roll R&B tune on Savoy. It's also a promo. It's free samples. Blue Jeans by Ernie Wilkins, his alto sax and orchestra. And then the B-side is Have You Ever Been Lonely? And that is on Savoy. So Savoy put out a lot of like doo-wop and R&B and stuff like that back in the 50s. I didn't even find a year on that one. I'm sure if I'd have looked harder, I would have found a year. Discogs did not have a year. So it's from 57. Has sold between 4 and 25.50. 8.50 is the mid. Another Savoy promo. Ding Dong Rockabilly Wedding by Libby Dean with the Ray Charles Singers and the Billy Durr Plank Orchestra. Man, that's a lot of stuff on one label there. That's what that is. I don't know if you can even read that. But it's actually called Rockabilly Wedding. So, Full-Time Lover, Libby Dean and the Vander Plank Orchestra is the B-side on Savoy. That was in that same box. There's actually 2 boxes, so they were in two platter packs, like the bigger platter packs, the bigger size ones. And this one everybody knows from 59, but I grabbed it because it's funny as I didn't see this label variation on Discogs. Kansas City by Wilbur Harrison on Fury, but it was such a clean copy, I snagged it. So, but that's a much better known song. It's the Kansas City song that you're thinking of. This one's a 60 rockabilly record, sold between 3 and 31. Mid-range is 6. On Door, this one's Boss Man by Dan Holly. This was a really nice condition. Oh, it's got a little bit of a sticker issue, and somebody wrote 14 on it. Look for a Star is the B-side, but the wax is nice on it. I said that store, I am definitely putting that on my list to hit when I am in that area, because man, if they get stuff like this, I will go there every single time. In fact, they had some really cool antiques too. This one's from 58. It's a rock and roll instrumental, according to my notes. Sold from $1.84 to $6.67. Whale by the Royal Tones on Jubilee. And the other side is Poor Boy. Of course, Jubilee puts out a lot of good stuff. And I bought one 78. They had a lot of 78s, but I started going through them. I really didn't find anything except for this one record. Only comp, I found one comp at $10, so I'm not going to trust it that much. This is from 56. It is rock and roll on Royal Roost Records. Priscilla by Etta Cooley and the Dimples. And this one plays very nice. It's very clean. And Got a Little Woman is the B-side on Royal Roost Records. Couldn't find much. I know it was released on 45 because I found it. Well, it's from 56, so you know it would have been released on 45. So we're going to roll into the next estate sale now. All right, so we got some more stuff for you. A lot of 45s and one LP. These are actually from a couple different estate sales. I didn't realize I accidentally put everything in one stack. So one of these sales was up in like Anaheim Hills in like a really nice house. and the other one was down towards like Long Beach. So, but I don't remember what was from what. So let's just tear into it, and I'll try to remember what was what. I can't remember. I don't. Like I said, I accidentally put them all in one stack. I wasn't paying attention, and I don't know. Let's just start. This one I got because it was somebody's I got because they were just really clean copies of common records. But I ran all the way home by the Impalas from '59. Really famous Doo-wop record. But like I said, it's a clean copy. I think I have this, but this is a cleaner copy than the one I got, so I grabbed that. This one I have a couple copies of, but like, again, it was such a nice copy, I snagged it. Rip It Up, Little Richard with Ready Teddy on the other side, and it's the early specialty with the yellow squiggly line in it. I got a few of these. In fact, I've got one. I think I even have one in one of my jukeboxes because I don't mind putting, even though it's an original, I don't mind putting it in there because it's such a common one. This one I got because I've got the matching 78, which probably appeared in one of the videos with a bunch of 78s. Karina by Joe Turner on Atlantic. And like I said, a very clean copy. And Boogie Woogie Country Girl on the other side. And this one's from 1956. Of course, you probably all know that song. So I've got the matching 78. Sometimes I like to have the matching 78 to the 45, that kind of thing. This one I grabbed, a big Buddy Holly fan. It does have writing on the label, but it's like the record is super clean. I'm Gonna Love You Too, Buddy Holly on Coral with Listen to Me on the other side. It has the platter pack number and the writing. So they went for the both of them. Another one, this one's a common, but again, it's a minty copy, so I snagged it. It's only worth $1 to $6. A Doo-wopper from '56, Casual Look by the 16s on Flip. I always like the Flip label stuff, even when they're common. And Teenage Promise is the B. Of course, Casual Look is a very well-known song. I've actually got the 16s CD. It's got like all the stuff they did on Flip on one CD that I got like a long time ago. I think at a thrift store. No, I got it at a estate sale. But I do have that. It was funny. I was actually playing it in the car, I think, like the day before I found that. So maybe that's why I bought it. This one is sold from $1 to $33. Mid-range is 6 from '67. That one you come across a lot. But Little Games by the Yardbirds with puzzles on the other side. So not your usual Yardbirds find, you know, like For Your Love or one of those. But still, I like the Yardbirds. I like anything I like stuff from that era, like garagey stuff. That'll go in my garage box. So I grabbed that one. Like I said, not a huge value on that one. This one sells between 85 cents to $140. That's why you don't trust these Discogs variations, because that's just ridiculous. Maybe 140 if it had the original picture sleeve and it was autographed by the artist. That's the only thing I could think of, but it doesn't tell you that. That's the problem. Mid-range is $4. That sounds more like it. Hurdy-Gurdy Man by Donovan. Like I said, the original originally did come with a picture sleeve, and obviously it's long gone. Teen Angel on the other side. Minty copy. That's like probably one of my favorite Donovan ones. You know, that or like Season of the Witch or something like that. But it's nice to have it on 45. Of course, I have it on LP. I couldn't remember if I had that on 45. This was a weird one because this was from one estate sale and the other one was from the other. That's right. I went through the other one first and I was like, wait a minute, I bought two Eric Burden records at that estate sale. And I realized I bought one Eric Burden and the Animals at one estate sale and two Eric Burden and the Animals at another estate sale. So I don't know, but they're all minty. This is San Francisco Nights, Eric Burden and the Animals. Good Times is the B-side. You know, San Francisco Nights for '67. Probably worth a few bucks. I don't know. I didn't write it down. It's probably like a $5 record. But my dad actually saw Eric Burden and the Animals. He used to go see them in London when he was living in London in the '60s. And the other one is When I Was Young. I said these aren't like your normal Eric Burdens you find. And A Girl Named Sandoz. I do have a copy of this already. Now that I think about it, that's a killer. But it's such a mint copy, so I grabbed it. This one is $1 to $13. Mid-range is 5. It's clean. I probably have another copy of it somewhere, but I'm about certain I do. 1966 Talk Talk by the Music Machine on Original Sound. So Art LeBeau's label out of Hollywood. And Come On In on the other side. So and the guy put a little sticker for his box on there. I got to see if I can get it off. This one says, my note is it's really rare. Somebody's asking $40 for it. 7 people want it to 5 halves. Mambo Rock, Bill Haley in the comments on Decca. So I guess this is one of the more obscure Bill Haleys, and Birth of the Boogie is the other side. I'll grab anything. I grab Bill Haley's when they're as long as they're not destroyed. That one's really clean, and apparently it's kind of a rare one. And so there's one's a little more common. This one's $1 to 15. Mid-range is 4. Razzle Dazzle, Bill Haley in the comments on Decca, and 2 Hound Dogs. Of course, we found those two. I found those 2 Bill Haley 78s a few weeks ago in one of the videos. Of course, one of them was Rock Around the Clock. The other one was Crazy Man Crazy. I found those on 78. Bongo Rock. I have a few of these. In fact, I think there's another one coming up from the other estate sale. Preston Epps Bongo Rock on Original Sound, Art LeBeau label, and Bongo Party. And I always grab these. I think these are like $1 to 9 is the stretch on those. I have the LP that he did with that on it, and that one sells for a few bucks. But it's cool because it's like, I think it's for $59, but it's kind of early surf music, if you will. So it would fit in with a surf set, and it was actually a hit. This one's not worth a lot. Tragedy, Thomas Wayne with the Delons. That's a pretty well-known song with Saturday Date as the B-side on Fernwood Records. Nothing's setting the world on fire, and it's a little dreary. It's one of those, teenage tragedy songs. Okay. This one's $1 to 9. Mid-range is 3 from 55. Teenage Prayer, I can't talk today. Teenage Prayer by Gloria Mann and orchestra conducted by Sid Bass on Sound Records. And Gypsy Lady on the other side. So I think these came from the sale that was near Long Beach. And this one, there's another copy of, I think, in the other stack I'm about to go through. Let me know. Oscar McLawley. This is Jump Blues from 58. And Hey Girl, Hey Boy, which is if you know Louis Prima songs, you know that song. I even made a note. I bought one at another sale this week as well. $1 to 16. Mid-range is $3.50, but it's a clean, super clean one. And we will be finding another one. This was a neat one I took a chance on just because it was on Checker and it was a DJ copy. Bill and Will, Going to the River. And the other side is Let Me Tell You Baby. And someone had to put a comma there. Someone drew a comma there. But on Checker, this one is a 64, kind of a blues rock. Sells between 54 and 87. The mid-range is 67. But it's actually a killer record. So Bill and Will, Going to the River. Yeah, that was a cool find. Now we're gonna go into this one. I think this might be 2 different estate sales worth, but we'll just tear into it. I think I messed up. I jumbled them together. Marvin Holmes and the Uptight. This is a 69 funk record. Sells between 4 and 16. Mid-range is 7. Ooh the Dragon Part 1, and guess what's on the other side? Yep, Part 2 by Marvin Holmes and the Uptights. If you have a name like that and you're not a soul or funk group, I can't help you. That's got to be. And that's a cool funk record. Next one we got sells between $1 and 30. Mid-range is $4.73. My notes, it was a little bit Memphis soul sounding. From 68, Freedom Train, James Carr on Gold Wax, which was distributed by Bell, and it's got the hole punched in it for the returns, and that's the way love turned out for me. So I don't know how rare it is. It's not like super valuable, but not Northern Soul, but more of like a Memphis sound. Soul Funk record. This one sells between 3 and 15. Mid-range is $7.50. Soul Walk by Jimmy Graham on Review. It's a funk record, soul funk record, and a Soul Walked In on the other side. Okay, and that they're actually distributed by MCA, so they were a part of MCA Records out of LA here. And this one is, let's see, we got Billy Ward and the Dominoes from 57. Sells between, I swear it says 5 cents. One of these sold for 5 cents on Discogs. 5 cents to $15. Mid-range is 3. Stardust, you know, the big band song. But it's Billy Ward and the Dominoes doing it with a vocal on it on Liberty. Still, I grabbed it because it was Billy Ward and the Dominoes. Yeah, I'd rather have like some early like Federal 78 of Billy Ward, which I do have. I have one of those, but I don't have 60 Minute Man though. I'm still looking for that. And here's one from 1960. It's a doo-wop. Sells between $1 and $10. Mid-range is 4. It's not the group you think it is. It's Fickle Little Girl by the Temptations. Not those Temptations. It's actually a doo-wop group called the Temptations and Letter of Devotion. And this one's on Gold Disc Records, not on Motown. It is a doo-wop group. It's not the Motown Temptations. So unfortunately for them, another group came along, used that name to much greater success than they did. Because I'm sure if they ever had to explain, oh yeah, I was in the Temptations, they're probably like, no you weren't. It's like, yeah I was, just not those Temptations. Here's one, you know the song. It's the original version of a much of a Rolling Stones song that you know and love. It's All Over Now by the Valentinos on SAR Records. Of course, redone by the Rolling Stones the same year, but this was the original. I'm tired of living in the country on the other side. Sells between $2 and $25. Mid-range is $10. I'm guessing a lot of that value is just because it's more of a soul version of It's All Over Now that was covered by the Stones. So since I think that boosts the value a bit because it was covered by the Stones. Here's another one, you know the name of the group, but it's not that group. This one is on Beaumont Record Corp. Pygmy Love by the Pixies. Not those Pixies. So it's not the Pixies. It's not, you know, the punk group. It's not Pixies with the John T. Williams Orchestra with My Johnny on the other side. I put it's like a teeny bopper girl record, maybe. I couldn't find a year, late 50s, early 60s. But the Pixies. Again, of course, another group went on to use that name, went on to much greater success about, 20, 30 years later. So, yeah, it's a rare Pixies record. So there we go. It's a teenage one. 3 to 8 is what it's worth from 59. I Loved Him So by the Dories on Door record. The Dories on Door. And Tragedy of Love. I think that's one I just took a chance on, and it wasn't really anything super special. And because we have went earlier, we got another copy. Here's the other copy of Bongo Rock. We already talked about that. Here's one, 63 Surf. Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys with Surfer Girl on the other. I'm not going to get into too much depth about that, but it's in really nice shape. Comes up a lot. Of course, being here in Southern California, we find a lot of Beach Boys, a lot of surf. And here's that Oscar McLawley again, but not as nice as the other one. Another copy of that from 58. I'm not going to go into that one again. And here's that other Eric Burden and the Animals. And this is from a different sale. Help Me Girl with That Ain't Where It's At on the other side. So kind of neat to find like 3 super clean Eric Burden and the Animals singles at 2 different sales in the same stretch there. 56, you know it, you love it. I didn't write down a value because you know it, you love it. Long Tall Sally, a Little Richard, and Slipping and Sliding on the other side on specialty. And it's the later pressing without the squiggly line. So, but it's just a really clean copy for 56. So I grabbed it. Doo-wop from 56, sells between $1 to 17, mid-range is 5. Rockin' Rollin' Cowboy. I swear this is a doo-wop record. It's called Rockin' and Rollin' Cowboy by the Youngsters on Empire Records, not the movie. So, nothing to do with the movie, but it's called Empire Records on Argyle in Hollywood. I know exactly where that is. And Shattered Dreams, Not the Johnny Hates Jazz song. Okay, it's not Johnny Hates Jazz. Shattered Dreams by the Youngsters. Thank God it's not the Johnny. That's a decent song. Okay, I'm not gonna rag on that one, but this is neat. This is 3 to 46. Mid range is 862. This one came from the Anaheim Hills one. I know for a fact because this was one that really stood out to me. And in fact, another guy was waiting. Was like, "Did you grab that one?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Honey Hush, Joe Turner. I have this on 78 as well on a yellow label, so it's an early Atlantic 45. Crawdad Hole is the other side. The later pressings had a different B-side. So this is the only pressing that had the Crawdad Hole B-side. And the later pressings had the red label, where it was my notes on this one. This pressing's from 53. And I do have this on 78 as well. So I snagged that one, and it plays extremely well. It does have a little bit of label wear and some writing on it, but kind of neat to find that. I'm a big Joe Turner fan. Here's one. I got to clean this one. This one's dirty. 59. Chuck Berry, Almost Grown, with little Queenie on the other side on chest. It looks like it'll clean up well. I just haven't cleaned it yet. Let's see. I'm going to go through these really fast so we don't go too crazy on the time. Baby Blue by the Echoes on Segway Records. Not the stand-up scooter. Okay. And that record company was out of New York. You know that song. Boomerang is the other side. Oh, it does have a scratch in it. Surprised I grabbed that one, but that one's not worth a ton. But kind of a cool label anyway. Another Billy Ward and the Dominoes from wow, this thing's filthy. I gotta clean it. September Song, Billy Ward and the Dominoes on a very filthy Decca record. It's not scratched, it's just dirty. And When the Saints Go Marching In. I probably meant to put it in my clean it pile, and I didn't, so that'll have to go in my cleanup pile. 62 R&B girl group. My notes is this one sounds like the Crystals. Sells between 3 and 15. Mid-range is 561. Ain't Gonna Kiss You by the Ribbons on Marsh Records out of Los Angeles. Like I said, it is a girl group that sounds a lot like the Crystals. And my baby said, those are my notes, that it sounds a little bit like the Crystals. Sometimes I do that. It sounds like so-and-so, so. This was a 57 blues record. Sold one comp I found was $17.92, $17.92, and someone's asking $20. Pretty Baby by Little Junior Parker and his combo on Duke. So it's a Duke that isn't Johnny Ace, and that's all right. So that's kind of neat to find. And I think we got a couple more here. Then we got one LP. Jealous Kind of Fella. I just grabbed this because I like the song, even though it's pretty common. So from 1969, Jealous Kind of Fella, Garland Green. And I Can't Believe You Quit Me is the B-side. But it has the hole punched in it. But I grabbed it because I like that song, not because it's anything spectacular. But and this one, Strawberry Alarm Clock, and it's not Incense and Peppermints, from 68. Psychedelic, Barefoot in Baltimore on Uni, and an Angry Young Man that also has the hole punched in it, and it's only sells between $1 to $14. Mid-range is $2.50, but I think they made a lot. I think every Strawberry Alarm Clock single I found, they weren't like worth a ton. As I think they made a lot of them, but the only one that everybody always remembers is Incense and Peppermint. This one is, I couldn't find this variation. It's from 66, but you know exactly what it is. It's the Rolling Stones with Paint It Black on London in the London sleeve. Stupid Girl's the B-side. Paint It Black. I got this for my sister. That's like one of her favorite Stones songs, so I'm probably going to wind up giving it to her. I couldn't find that variation, so I'll show you again. So I tried looking on there. I couldn't find any values on that variation. It can't be worth a ton. I mean, they made a lot of Stones 45s. And here's one from 77. This is the last 45, or last 7 inch. This actually plays at 33 from what I remember. 1977. Sells between $6.75 and $15, and the mid-range is 10. It is the Disneyland Main Street Electrical Parade picture disc. And I found this in Orange County, so definitely it has the original plastic, has the original card that went in there. It doesn't look like they really ever played it. But I'm a big Disney guy. I've got Disneyland passes myself. I've had Disneyland passes forever. So that's going in my Disney collection. So that's why I grabbed that one. I'm glad they didn't pull it out of the 45s. So I go, oh, we want more money for it. It's Disney. You know, so fortunately they didn't do that to me. They, you know. And this is the only LP I got, and that sale was 1968 Soul Funk Gospel. Sells between $1.09. Mid-range is $3. I got it because it was mint. And it looked kind of cool. Where We're At by the Hesitations. But it's like a super nice copy of it. So, and that one like the vinyl's like really mint. Nothing super expensive. It's a gospel record, but kind of like sometimes I take chances on stuff. So there you go. That's what I got for you this week on Mike Finds Things. I've actually still got some records that I haven't put in a video, so I'm gonna make sure that's in the next video. Hopefully I'll be hitting something this weekend. I've got a couple car shows to shoot for the other channel, which is my name, Mike Frankovich. Link is in the description. Check that channel out if you like vintage cars. Like I said, I will be doing Viva Las Vegas Rockabilly Weekender. I'm shooting the car show. That's what I'm there for, but I'll probably bring some records out since they're having a vinyl gathering. But I've got to adhere to whatever rules they have, since I do have a press credential, and I need to watch that. I don't want to step on any toes, because I'd like to be invited back to future events there as well. Let me know about what you're thinking about these records. Please sure to leave something in the comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.